thanks for joining me today. I'm coming at you with a quick and easy homemade broth tutorial that's great for these cold winter December days. It's packed with nutrients and vitamins for flu and cold season. So I got my warm sweater on, I got a cup of tea, so grab yourself a pot and let's get to it. So I've come to love soups, I think because of my mom. Growing up, she was always making homemade broths and homemade soups. But what's the hype about bone broth these days? Is it really as beneficial as people say it is? Well, actually, it's packed with vitamins and nutrients. Just to name a few, the gelatin that's found in the bones has been shown to improve overall gut health. It's packed with collagen, which is a vital component in our hair, skin, and nails. And it's also packed with glucosamine, which is an important compound in our joint and connective tissue. So making homemade broth is super easy and simple. You can pretty much add anything that you want to it. I usually would do a chicken broth by adding like the leftover carcass of a rotisserie chicken to a pot. You can do beef broth by getting some beef bones from your local grocery store. If you don't see beef bones on your shelf at a grocery store, just make sure you ask back in the meat department, because sometimes they don't put them on the shelf, but they have them in the back and they can price them for you. And if you're vegan or vegetarian, you can just add a bunch of vegetables to a pot and make vegetable broth. So today I'm just going to use whatever I have in my freezer and actually do something a little bit different that I haven't done before. With it just being Thanksgiving, I actually saved the organ meat from the turkey that we made. So I'm going to use the turkey giblets as the base for my broth today. Organ meat is packed with vitamins like B12 and folate and has minerals like iron, magnesium, and zinc. So go ahead and grab whatever you have in your fridge or your freezer and let's get started. Go ahead and grab all your ingredients. I had an onion and some garlic cloves. I previously bought some thyme and rosemary for another meal that I'm going to throw in there. I had some other vegetables like some mushrooms in my fridge. There's my turkey organ meat and some vegetables I had cut up and frozen. And then you can just add in whatever spices you want. I just chose to do some salt and pepper. And then I'll throw in a couple bay leaves. And then I just laid out everything that I was going to stick in. So we really don't have any cutting or anything left to do because we had already cut everything and put it in the freezer previously. I'm just going to deshell the garlic cloves and cut the onion, and then we can throw everything into the pot. So at this point, we're actually just going to throw everything right into the pot. The best time to start this would probably be in the morning so that it has all day to kind of simmer, but it's about 1:30 here, so I'm starting a bit late, but you can actually just take the whole pot and stick it in the fridge overnight and then put it back on the stove and let it simmer a little bit more the next day as well. And that's it. We're just going to cover the ingredients with water and then put a lid on our pot and set the temperature on high until we bring the pot to a boil. Once we can tell the water is boiling, we can go ahead and turn the temperature down to low so that it simmers. You can go ahead and cover it back up, and we're just going to let it simmer for a couple hours. So this actually only simmered for about 5 or 6 hours, but my husband wanted some soup for dinner, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, and we're going to start straining it just by taking out all the big pieces first. And then we're going to grab another separate pot and a strainer to get the little pieces. You might want to use some mitts instead of just your sleeves. For freezing purposes, go ahead and just label it with what it is and the date that you made it. So after you've strained your broth, you can go ahead and use it in some soup that day, or you could actually just freeze it for a future use. That's really all there is to it. It's pretty simple. So if you have an interest in learning more about the benefits of using bone broth in your diet, I've linked a few articles below in the description so you can check those out. Thank you guys so much for watching and for all of your support, and please stay tuned for more videos on health and wellness tips and how to steward the body that you've been gifted with. And I'll see you next time.